Welcome back to Eintracht Frankfurt, the Bundesliga podcast covering everything there is to know in the English language about Eintracht Frankfurt. Chris here in mid-Michigan. I am well under the weather, so I'm going to rely a lot on my co-host there today, a fellow bro with the long hair, looking good out there in New York. How are the ponies doing in Saratoga, Matt?
Travers weekend, baby. It's a busy week around here, so it's gonna be a wild one.
Will you be over there at all? Are you hitting the links this weekend?
Oh yeah, we just bought the tickets for Travers General's mission, so
Good
it's gonna
stuff.
be a wild weekend. I'm excited for it.
Good stuff. Well, this is going to be an up and down episode. I know we have one particular subject that everyone wants to talk about. Everyone's talking about. It's on your feeds, it's on my feeds. There's no way to avoid it. We are going to talk Kevin Trapp, but we're going to try to talk business first, because there's a lot going on the pitch as well, and it's important that we cover that. But we will give Kevin Trapp his time. But let's start, Matt, with a recap. DFB Pokal. Let's talk first about the expectations. I mean, an Anger's side that I don't think anyone really knew much about, fifth division side. Here on the U.S. English feed, the world feed, that kept mentioning the part-time players. And as long as the score was 0-0 in the first half, I'm like, can you not mention the part-time players part? Because that almost made the 0-0 sound really bad.
It's
But
just the commentators' curse that they're literally begging to give us, essentially, right? But
we were all thinking about it because
yeah,
the way Frankfurt works, you're either winning the thing, going to the final, or losing to the first round to a club you never heard of. But
we were
um,
due. We were due
yeah,
for it, but I'm glad
you
we
know what
didn't.
though, it just took some time. It just took some time, but once the dam broke, everything was just onslaught from that point. What are your thoughts on, the first time seeing the club in a competitive match? And, I mean, a little bit of a slow start on the scoreboard, but certainly as the second half opened up, I thought it was everything we wanted to see.
I mean, it was kind of just pure domination. I mean, it definitely felt like more of like another like preseason game, essentially, But I mean, the lineup I was pretty happy with, having Burkhardt in there, Uzon Bahoya, and getting Doan in there as well right off the bat, which was pretty good because obviously I know Guts is also
Yeah.
injured, which kind of puts that into perspective. But no, I mean, we lined up great. I thought, Collins was a nice little piece in the middle there, but we're back with the with having four in the back over there. And no, I think it was a good first test run, get the whole team going. I mean, I thought our benches. I mean, I feel like we have a very in depth bench. When Hoyland came in, Knauf came in, Wahi came in, so it's it was definitely a good showing for the first Pflichtspiel, I guess, as they would say. So it's definitely a good showing for the boys here.
Yeah, you talked about the lineup. Certainly not what we were expecting to see through camp in the U.S. with Shkiri going down and now Kotza being hurt. Not the kind of matchup where we'd expect to run out our top lineup, but certainly would have been nice to see Shkiri in there. Goetze being out, and not that we really needed his creativity in this one because the ball's moving everywhere, but you kind of want to see how these guys have worked things out in year two together, or work guys like Dewan and with Goetze feeding him. I think there's a lot of potential with these combinations. Um, were there any that stuck out to you? I thought it was interesting seeing Dewan be as active as he was. It felt like Hugo Larson kind of took a back seat, and some of that's just trying to figure out how things are going to work. He's been in camp for a week, 2 weeks, so it's not like they've had a lot of time to work together. But Larson, was really our most effective person in that part of the pitch last season. But if Dewan does what he did this week, hey, big things are possible.
I mean, he took almost every. I think he took every corner that we had. I mean,
Yeah.
he was very very active. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think he also just needed just kind of that showing, like, hey, like I'm here, I've arrived, kind of situation. Like I'm here on a Champions League team now, so it's well, I guess he was technically on a Champions League team last year, but um it's no, I think he was, yeah, I think he was the standout. Obviously, I mean, obviously the spotlight was a little bit more on him, starting right off the bat, after being transferred a week later. So I thought he had a very very good showing. I thought Bahoya had a really good showing as well. um But yeah, no, I was a little disappointed with Burkhardt, if could be kind of honest. I mean, I feel like, yeah, maybe he should score a goal and be a 9. I think he assisted one of the goals, if I'm not mistaken. But I was hoping at least he could get on the score sheet for us. But I mean, we had 5 other people, or 4 other people technically, with Dawn scoring 2. So I think that's even a better situation than I could
Yeah.
expect. So.
Yeah, and again, there's not a lot you can feel out against a lower division side like that. But I
Like, who
thought
did you like? Who did stood out for you?
I thought Bohoya looked nice, and he came on late last year. I thought he looked really good here in the States this summer. That's a guy that we want to see more of. I'm don't that left side is kind of a weird situation. Um, for so many years with Kostic there, it was our only option. But since then, we haven't really had much of a left side attack. Tell me if I'm wrong, but um, it's kind of been a hit or miss. But I think Bohoya's showed some one-on-one creativity, broke down defenders a little bit. And if he could do more of that, certainly everyone's going to look at that right side as the biggest threat just because of the names that are pushing the ball there. But if that gives him space on the left side to work, I think that could be an interesting situation, especially with Chanu's in there. I want to see him get a little more involved. It's not that he was bad. I don't really think there was anything too bad there, but I want to see more. It's
It
hard to
seemed like a
complain in
trial
this
run with him.
situation.
It seemed like a trial run with him playing that 10 role, and I don't know why. Because I feel like he usually, if he does sit in that role when him and Guts to play, I feel like he kind of goes a little bit wider sometimes. So I feel like he was asked to be a little more central, which made it feel like he wasn't as effective as he could have been or should have been. I feel like there's a little bit of a test run from
And
Dino.
maybe we get a little complacent since Goats has eyes in the back of his head. He sees everything at all times. It takes a little
Yep.
more awareness for most players to feel out that part of the pitch, but it's kind of hard to complain when the stats show 84% possession and 10 shots on target, 31 shots total, 10 on target. Um, and it wasn't that we were sailing the ball over the net. I mean, they just put everybody in front of the ball that they could because they really couldn't take possession back. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to say something about our defense. There was one breakdown, the one I'm talking about, where Grawl got out
Literally within
there
the
and
first 10-15 minutes.
yeah, it kind of looked like Philadelphia all over again, where the breakdown just kind of happened and Grawl was stuck there in no man's land. And fortunately, I don't know who covered the goal line, but we can't let that be a thing. It's one of those
No.
things where when I was playing as a defender, even as a keeper, these matches were the worst because you get a little complacent. You get a little flat-footed as the ball is moving so far down the pitch that not that you're standing around, but you do lose a little bit of that spatial awareness and what's going on. And I think that's kind of what happened there. A team that is a part-time team, as was mentioned over and over, all of their legs were exhausted in the first 30 minutes, and you could tell. And I think
Yeah.
that was kind of their one grasp for glory that fortunately worked out in our favor. Could you imagine the social media if that had gone against us? If we had gone down at that point in the match and been fighting from behind, it takes on a
Well, it would have
whole
been a
different
different story
energy
if they scored that. I
for
mean,
sure.
it would have been I mean, that wouldn't be the first time. It'd be one of the
Yeah, I'm
worst
not going to
times, but it
say
wouldn't be the first time.
I'm not going to say we would have lost, but it certainly would have been a nail biter. But I
But here's
think
the thing,
that
like at least as soon as Bahoya scored and then, the second half came on, it seemed like it was
yeah,
already a wash up. Like, pack up your bags. Like, now we're just playing like a charity game essentially. Like, let's just kind of do this.
the first one was good. The second one before the break was huge because everyone just calmed down. All right,
Yep.
this is where we're supposed to be at 2-0. And then, kind of a quiet second half, get the third goal from Dewan. And then, the subs come in, Wahi and Aronson getting his first. That was Wahi's first, I think, with us as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
Just really positive to see both those guys on the board. And I've fought a lot of people. It's not the American homer in me. I truly think Paxton Aronson can bring something to this group. I'd rather have him train with our senior team now than go out on loan again and then we never see him. It's not like he had to fight a lot for that goal. It was garbage time goal. But, your first one has to come from somewhere. And I'm not going to read more into it than what it is. He got on the goal sheet and he's going to have a lot of energy next time he sees the pitch. Who knows when that's going to be? But
exactly. And, with recent rumors now, that may be his last outing with us. So it's I always hate these times. Like I wish the transfer window would end when the season started for various league, or I wish all the leagues just started at the same time. Because yeah, great. Aronson scored a goal, but now the Colorado Rapids are looking at him right now. That is looking like a deal from, 9 p.m. Eastern time on a Tuesday, August 19th.
Now, I just saw the rumor before we went live. What is the status of the rumor? What's the nature of the deal? Because with the summer season here in the States, would he come back to us in November or October, whenever their season ends?
That is a wonderful question. As I'm going to filibuster here a little bit to make sure.
Well, while you do a little bit of Googling, since we are live, I'll do a little bit of promotion. As you can see on the bottom, I am running our live stuff from, back in Philly. So ignore a lot of that, but certainly like, listen, subscribe on your preferred platform. We are debuting a new series. If you haven't checked it out, check out your podcast platform right now. Brian's got a new series out. Before each home match, Brian will interview a person with a Bundesliga knowledge, whether it's a certain club or Frankfurt historian, let's say. But the new series is called The Opponents, and it features our upcoming home opponent. So this week's feature is Werder Bremen, talks about a specific match from the 1990s, kind of the pivotal moments against certain opponents that shaped Eintracht Frankfurt as they are today. So, Matt, you got as I stalled for you there, you got something for me?
Yeah, and it's getting a lot more. I guess I'll start off with the big guy, the name Tom Bogart from Give Me Sport. He pretty much wrote an article now 3 hours ago saying that Colorado Rapids have agreed to a potential club record fee with Frankfurt. Sources say a number of European clubs have been pursuing to sign Aronson, but the Rapids are close to finalizing a deal. The transfer window in the MLS closes on Thursday, so there is potential this happening very fast. So this guy has about 100,000 followers on Twitter or X right now, so that is a pretty good source. And yeah, it's just a lot more other pundits with 5,000 followers. A lot of other people.
How many followers you got on there?
Let's not talk about that. But yeah, we'll see how that kind of works with Paxton Aronson. I'm glad he got his goal, but I we'll see what kind of happens to that stays. But like I said, I hate this whole thing of this whole transfer window, this in this part of the season. Now we'll get to Kevin Trapp and all that kind of stuff, but I'm glad that while he scored a goal, because I think especially with how much money we paid for him, which is kind of annoying because we paid less for Burkhardt, and Burkhardt's our starter, but I'm glad that we're getting him more confidence and playing time and stuff like that, so that maybe he could live up to that 25 mil that we paid for him. But like I said, we have a very, very deep bench. We didn't even have a Gutso Shkiri in there, you know what I mean? So it's good to see that we have good fucking players. Just simple.
It was good to have a late lead where we could put some new guys in there and get them some reps. And that's something that as we play in 3 competitions here, we're playing 3 matches in a 7-day period for most of the fall. We're going to have to rely on that depth.
Because match fitness is a very big difference from training fitness. So we need that.
With less than 2 weeks left in the European window, I don't think we're done. I would like to see another defender. Where's your priorities at here for Marcus Croce as we close this out?
I don't know. I think we're pretty good on the defensive side, because even if we play a 3 in the back, we can put Koch, Collins, and then Brown whenever his hamstring gets better. I think that'd be a good little mix up. Or we continue, or Rasmus Christensen on the right, or we do the 4 with Collins, Koch, Christensen, and Nathaniel Brown. So I'm pretty happy with our defense. I think it's definitely going to be just another big year for Koch to really demand more from the defense, especially not having Kevin Trapp in his back anymore. Now it's just going to be kind of him.
So you don't think we need an immediate replacement for Tuta over there?
No, because we still have Smolcic. We still have Artur Teat. Niels Nkunku, I think, is a great left back as well. He's got some size too. I don't really think so.
Okay. Where would you focus your money if you're writing the checks? Or are you content with where we're at?
I'm saying I think we made a lot of moves, these past couple transfer windows where I'm pretty happy with our team because, we have a lot of youth in there, right? We have some seniorship with Batshuayi, with Gutze, with Shkiri in there, I guess you could put Koch in there as well. 29, 30. So we have a good mix of people. If anything, maybe a keeper, a better keeper. So
there have been keeper rumors. Before we get into the official Kevin Trapp talk, there have been keeper rumors, and I'm not keeping up with because, frankly, I hate talking transfers, even though I'm supposed to be doing that right now.
Michael Zetterer is done and dusted. He's already in Frankfurt.
All right, there you go. Breaking news. We need watch this. This is fun. Stall for a second. We got like a breaking news thing
section
here. I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
No, we got like a cool breaking news. There we go. Breaking news here on HefPod.
So Mishat
we need like a sound thing too. We need like Tom Brokaw to like announce our breaking news.
and we need like the old Telegram thing where it goes like
we're doing that. We'll get Nathan on that. We'll get that audio in here right away.
No, Michael Zetterer, Mishat Zetterer is a Frankfurt player. He signed a 3-year deal, 4.5 million with 0.5 in potential bonuses. And it seems like it was a very, very quick replacement when Kevin Trapp announced his official leave today. So
kind of makes me wonder where we are with Santos too, because he's kind of the heir apparent, and rumors being rumors. There's discussions that the club might be ready to look more towards him. That might have helped push Kevin back to Paris a little bit.
He's still
whether
coming
or
off
not
a knee
that's
injury,
true, that's my concern.
Yep.
And certainly you have to invest in a quality goalie, not knowing the health of Santos going forward. But that'll be a healthy battle there, and gives you the confidence that you can go with a 1-2 system if you need to with the amount of matches we have in our schedule this fall.
Correct. And people may be shitting on Michael Zetterer a little bit more, but he's actually
He's
solid goalkeeper. He's 30 years old. He's in his prime, and he helped almost bring Bremen to some sort of European European Cup twice, in back-to-back seasons, last season and then the year before that. So he's definitely good. I mean, he's definitely, held us, accountable for a couple of saves and stuff like that from our strikers and whatnot. But no, I think it's a great back and back replacement. It's just kind of crazy how quickly it all happened with Kevin Trapp announcing his departure and then this kind of happening. So it's kind of like a weird excitement thing and also depressing sort of situation. So I mean, like I said, going back to your question, where would I put my money in? Probably another goalkeeper. I hear David De Gea could still be out there. Obviously, that's kind of a ridiculous thing, but yeah, I think we should get another young goalkeeper, somebody who could be a nice, a Stamm player for us, like Oka Nikolov, Kevin Trapp, like who's the next third person for us. So
you don't like Jan Skral and his AARP card sticking around? That's not your cup of tea?
No, he's definitely, he's a great guy, great person, all that kind of stuff. But great trainer, great guy keeping our keepers in the head. But I mean, will he ever make another mistake like that this season, like he did against FGAS? Probably not. But I like to see somebody a little bit younger in there. Call me ageist.
Yeah. Yep. No, no, you're not wrong. Um, Speaking of ages, I don't even know where I'm going with that. I had to come up with a segue. What are the kids drinking these days? What are you and your wife putting down this week, or what will you be drinking at the races this weekend?
Probably just keeping it light because it'll be a little bit of a binger kind of thing. But we have we're gonna go to Treehouse Brewing over here. So
Good
that
stuff.
place opened up.
No.
Good stuff. If you're an IPA fan, that is like the IPA heaven essentially. So yeah, IPA Saratoga and Treehouse.
So I work for a Dutch company. By the way, I got to give a shout out to because I haven't been on in a couple weeks now since we got back. Brauhaus Schmitz in Philadelphia hosted us. Outstanding job from Doug and his team at Brauhaus Schmitz in Philly. Hossman on tap was just.
Too
I
much.
had to cut it off early. It was too good.
Too good and too much.
When you are stuck drinking it out of the can, I mean that's not a bad thing because it's good in the can. I can get it right down the street from me, but when you have it, what do they say, Vom Foss, and in that quantity, it's just so good that you got to cut it off at the right time because it can hit you real quick. But
It's different,
uh,
man. But what are you
such a
drinking this
good time
weekend?
there. But I work for a Dutch company, and one of my friends over there does some distilling. A place called Friendship over in
Oh,
Amsterdam. It's a caramel infused vodka made in Amsterdam, and I am quite under the weather. All is my elixir, and it is 10:40 p.m. here on the East Coast. I'm having an espresso martini in my 125 anniversary glassware because I'm barely alive right now, and this is
I
that espresso at 10:30 at night is going to keep me alive.
was gonna say if you put the vodka in, then may clear all the shit in you.
I got it. Well, I have two shots in there right now, so it's
There you
doing its
go.
job.
There you
But I
go.
got to clear the system out before college football starts. That's when the drinks get very specific as the football starts here in the States. But yeah, good time drinking then. I can't wait to hear how the races go for you. I'm sure you'll have some good stuff you'll be sharing.
Hell yeah. What are you gonna drink for the game though? That's the muy importante.
Well, it is a 9:30 in the morning start, so I might go back to these espresso martinis. They're
There you go. You
really,
can't drink all day if you don't
really
start
good.
in the morning, Chris.
By the way, the caramel infused vodka it just adds a whole different element to that.
Yeah, because you
I
keep
mean,
on
like,
sipping and you're like, how is this interesting? Like, why does it taste so
yeah,
good?
exactly, exactly. Matt, I wanted to avoid it. We can't avoid it. We're gonna spend
You're gonna make me cry,
plenty of
dude.
time on this. This is a no judgment zone. It's a safe space. I've had emotions for a couple days over this, and it's not something I want to do. Here's the thing. I'll start this off, and then I'll let you go next. I don't attach myself to players in this sport because they move on way too quickly. Um, whether they're good or bad, or they're great people, rarely do they stick around too long. That's just the nature of the sport. It's not like baseball or football here in the States where guys sign 10-year contracts and your contract is a contract. Um, I don't even know why we put terms on contracts in European football anymore because they just don't matter. But um, I've followed this club for 30 years, and I went to my first match in 2014, 13, 14, 14, and Kevin Trapp was in goal. And he was a young Kevin Trapp. I don't even think he could grow a beard then. Um,
Young lad from Kaiserslautern.
I feel like this is an end of an era for this club. We went through the Alex Meyer transition, another club legend who put in a decade or so. And eh, there's always points that you mark generations for your club. And this is certainly one of those. When he went to PSG, uh, it was a no brainer move up because it was PSG. It was more money, and he had earned the right to call a shot. At that time, that was a major upgrade for him. And I applauded him for doing that. And when he came back, we knew exactly what we were getting. It was not Luka Jovic 2.0 or any other player that's come back for a loan or a re-signing. This, you knew exactly where Kevin Trapp was in his prime, and we got that and more. A phenomenal glue guy on the pitch in the locker room. I don't believe we win Europa Cup without him. Um,
Not a
I mean,
shot.
so certainly we don't qualify for Champions League this year because the amount of stress we put him under, even rushing him back, I think a little bit from injury last year, um, to come back and help secure that qualification. There's just not enough praise out there for the guy. He's truly, truly one of the great legends in this club's history. Give me your thoughts.
I mean, I don't even know where to start, honestly. I mean, I'm going to start off by saying whoever is, kind of saying, oh, he like did it too late and everything like that. Like, we got an immediate replacement for him after that. Like, he's going back to his wife in Paris. He's going to be a Louis Vuitton model. Like, it's a no brainer for him. Like, he's going to have a job after all of this. Like, it's a no brainer for him, and he's more than well deserving to, have his outing whenever he wants to be out. But you put the nail in the coffin right there. It's like an end of an era. Just because, like, for me especially, like, I didn't grow up with like the Charlie Kerbals, Jurgen Grabowski, Bernd Nickel, none of those guys. But like my guys were like Okan Nikolov, Alexander Meyer, the freaking the Greek boys of Anamatidis, Gekas, I'm forgetting the defenders guy, but then there's also Sebastian Jung, Sebastian Rode, and then there was Kevin Trapp, and he pretty much stood for everything what he did. Like he helped us get to Europa League final. He got us to the Champions League. I mean, without his penalty save, without his one-on-one save, like we wouldn't be the team that we are now. So, and I think him staying there for as long as he did with us, and then especially coming back, just try to show the true testament of us as a club, our culture and everything like that, and how that kind of brings that onto the field. So it makes, I mean, I'm not old at all, but like it makes me feel fucking old because now like there's not that I don't even think there's any German players besides Burkhardt on there anymore. You know what I mean? So it's not that that's a thing at all, but it's nah, man. I mean, I think I've shed all the tears already watching all the videos and stuff like that, which the Frankfurt marketing team did an absolute amazing job. I mean, I'm kind of choking up here a little bit, but it's dude, it sucks. It sucks, but you can only, you kind of wish you lived. You kind of what's that saying where it's like you wish you knew you were in the best moments when you did and stuff like that. And we did that with Kevin, which was awesome.
That line from
And
The Office, you wish you knew you were in the good times.
yes, thank you.
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what? We've talked a lot about guys that transfer out and then you never hear from them again. The grass is always greener on the other side. They get over there and realize, oh, my career kind of peaked in Frankfurt. Did I make a mistake leaving? Um, Kevin Trapp did not make a mistake when he went to PSG. It was the right move to make. But then when it came down to the battle there, and he was being paid too much for the amount of time he was going to get, and it was clear it was time for him to move. Um, there was no hesitation. He knew where he wanted to go, and both parties on both sides were willing to make it work out. When he came back in that 2018 season, or 2018-19, it it kind of felt like, I mean, we had come off that, crushing up and down into the relegation playoff and then being saved, and, a cup victory with Radetzky. But then it just kind of felt like when Kevin Trapp came back, we knew things were going to be okay.
It was a
We were
whole new
new.
energy.
Yes. And that's nothing against Lucas Radetzky because he was outstanding for us. But Kevin Trapp had that mentality that's just very Frankfurt. And I don't really know how to explain it. I'm not a German native. I've never lived in or near Frankfurt. I lived in Nuremberg, 3 hours away. But there's something about the vibe in that town that Kevin Trapp just kind of embodied. And, he identified with the fans so much that I'm told that the take he made the video for today took multiple shots,
I
or the
don't
one that
doubt
was
it, dude.
released today. Um,
he
I mean,
looked
it
he
took
looked
it took
horrible.
me multiple shots to get through it.
No,
And
I had
in
to pause
German
it.
and English too. It made it even worse for a non-German speaker like me.
Like I said, the marketing department literally made a great job in putting us into our fields and stuff like that. But no, he's literally the emperor of Frankfurt. Like you can tell from the fans, like the kids, like the guy's just such a good fucking dude, And he's just an amazing soccer player, which is a great thing on top of that. And like he's had the most ideal career if you think about it. He's shit team with Kaiserslautern in like the second, or even I think they were in the third league when he played with them. Goes to Frankfurt as a stud as a young kid. Goes to a big baller team like PSG. Plays great there, Champions League, all that stuff, and then goes back to Frankfurt and then does another, couple years or so. So like, he was definitely Germany's best keeper at one point too. Like, he's had. It's literally perfect, and like the way he said it, like he wants to leave on top rather than somebody saying, "Oh, we need to get rid of him," which. Side note, he was a little bit worse last year, but he's still Kevin Trapp. You know what I mean? I didn't say that. But no, he's had the perfect career. I mean, he's, everything like a professional, soccer player, keeper, or even just a professional person should look up to just because, the commitment he put in, the heart he showed, and yeah,
Well, let's
it's
cut
a
the
big
other side of
hole.
this, because there's some people that say, "Why now?" Why are we praising this guy when he walked out a week before the season starts? But there's another side to this that I think is important to cover. These guys are making a ton of money, 3 to 4 mil a year for a guy like Kevin Trapp. He's still a person. He's still got a family. He's still got ambitions. And as much as we live and die with this one club, this is his career. This is his future career. The Louis Vuitton thing, that's not a joke to him. I mean, the guy
That's
is
sick. He's gonna
the guy
model it
is
with his wife. That's the
passionate as
best
fuck,
ideal
man.
thing.
Yes, and that this is what you want a well-rounded player to do, is know when it's time to move on after he's achieved what he wanted to achieve in qualifying Champions League through the table and leaving the place better than he found it. And I understand the
Yeah.
sentiment about him leaving late. I talked to him one-on-one here in the States, and certainly this was not brought up because it wasn't on anyone's radar, but there was no indication that this could be possible. But I think when it does come up, you just know. And you could tell today that he was uncomfortable with some of the attention that it received. But any of us would do the same. I just made a move from my dream job to a different job because it was the best thing for my family. Is it what I wanted to do? Probably not. But I made the move because it was the best thing for my family. And these athletes sometimes are not afforded the opportunity to make those decisions without a shitload of criticism. So I get it because of the timing being a little awkward in the schedule, but also he's not somebody that owes us anything. If anything, we owe him way more than we could ever repay him.
Exactly. Like this is just a career for him. He's having a second career. He has a second career lined up. He's not going to be, one of these professional players that waste all their money at once and then broke afterwards. Like, yeah, I mean, he's also 35. Like there's also that aspect of it. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's leaving on top. He's leaving as the king. Arguably probably a better goalkeeper than Okan Nikolov. Honestly, yeah, legend.
Is there a moment for you that will stand out? Your Kevin Trapp moment?
Yeah, Europa League, not the one on not the penalty save, but the one-on-one save. That one was probably like a holy shit moment. Like this is the best keeper in the world,
Yeah.
just simply put.
Yeah. That, I mean, he really in that match stood out to me. I was going to go with the penalty save, but certainly that we maybe don't even go to penalties without that.
That's why I'm saying that
Yeah,
because if you didn't save
and
that, there would have never been penalties, and we wouldn't be
yeah,
sitting here.
yeah. That was a huge one. I just it's kind of hard, when I'm older than him, because usually your heroes are like older than you, and when your heroes retire or leave, you're like, oh my god. Now this is kind of the first time where, like, one of those hero level athletes for me is younger than me, and at first it makes me feel really fucking old. But the other part of it is like I can't be mad about it because he gave us literally everything. He
But
put a
that's what I'm
European
saying.
trophy on the shelf, and I mean, short of, burning down the stadium on the way out, the guy is, you know,
I
he's earned
mean,
his right to call his shot.
look at the impact he's putting on a younger man has put an impact on you like that. You know what I mean? Like that
Yep.
says so fucking much. And
And what do we talked a lot about guys like Rhoda and Chandler. Chandler's being kept around because of what he does in the locker room, and
correct.
the numbers of Germans in the squad for DFB and all that. But Chandler is a glue guy. Rhoda was a glue guy, even though he put his body out there more than we ever asked him to. Some of these guys are kept around because of the glue. Kevin Trapp was a glue guy who also brought it right until the last week he was here too. So I think this is unique in that nobody's saying it's time for him to go. We've questioned his health a little more in recent years, but certainly we couldn't question his ability to save a match for us, because he
His
did it right
grit.
up in that run last year to get us qualified.
I mean, that's the thing. If you knew he was leaving too, he wouldn't be doing the whole U.S. trip. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
meeting everybody and all that kind of stuff. So, um, yeah, man. I mean, it's a bittersweet day. You know what I mean? I mean that you can't be mad about it. It's just like, damn, like that's one good time that's over. Because, like I said, I put him together with like Sebastian Jung, Sebastian Rode, Marco Russ, Alexander Meyer. Oh fuck, I could keep going on and on and on. Like it's weird. Like this is the first time where I'm feeling like old as shit. I'm not even 30 yet.
Go to hell.
But you know what? Onwards and upwards, man. I mean,
Yeah,
next guy up, Michel Zeta.
exactly.
Now
Exactly.
he's
And
Champions
we
League.
have 24 hours to think about this because there's a match on Saturday against Werder Bremen.
He's not
And I
playing.
spelled their name wrong.
There's no way he's
um,
playing that. I think Jens Karl's going to get the nod for that, and then
I think you have to, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and then yeah, we'll see how we go from there. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting first Bundesliga match. I feel like we haven't started a Bundesliga match at home in a long time.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, this might be a good thing. Kevin Trapp leaving when he does, and I'm going to try to segue this into our match preview. If this was hanging over everything in the last days of the transfer window while we're trying to play at home, get off to a strong start, it could certainly be a distraction. Um, Maybe there's something to this being handled the way it was, the timing of it working in our favor, because no one's going to ask the question Saturday. Certainly he'll be talked about, but it's not going to impact what's going on because we know who our guy is, probably Grawl, through this week of training.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think the team may have known even before the DFB game, or the DFB Pokal game, honestly. So, and the way that Jens Gag got already his, rust off, he's made his one stupid mistake. He's not going to do it at all on Saturday. So at least we're in the clear for that. Sorry, my computer like blacked out on me. So I just completely lost track of my thought.
You tend to do that often.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Talk to me about Werder Bremen. Like you said, they kind of quietly did some things last year, but also they didn't really make moves that, are going to splash and make them, move skyrocket up a table this year. What
I mean, they're not
these
going to
are
be
the
the same
worst.
team as last year. Yeah, that's
No,
for sure.
no. But these are the worst matches to open up against because you don't really know what to expect.
No, correct. And I really don't know. I mean, they're gonna have Koulibaly back there again. Who's like who's like a young, defensive guy that they really like, who lacks kind of, a lot of experience right now. They have another guy named, I think, fucking, what's his name? Like the Norwegian guy. I don't even know. I was trying to do as much research as I could from here, but they do have a good guy from Juventus coming in, who's I think his name was like Bugala and
Angola.
Bangula,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I guess that he could be a kind of a little bit of a threat against us, but I really don't know too much, about this team. I don't really think they're going to be as good as they were last year, especially losing a goalkeeper this quickly. So yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see with that, but I think we should be in total control from the midfield on.
Yeah. These openers are already, I can't use that term anymore, a trap game. It's, it's been taken away from us, but that's one where I would usually rely on a Kevin Trapp in an early season up and down affair. But I think the way that we put things together, not a lot of crazy roster turnover over the summer, adding guys like Dewan and Burkhardt, and having Burkhardt on tour is huge. Getting the extra practices here in the States, and then Dewan fitting in pretty seamlessly for that cup match. I think we're ahead of schedule as far as our roster development. Um, and that should be a benefit to us playing some tough preseason matches and getting pretty healthy through it all too. Scary, a little beat up and goats out, but for the most part, we're healthy going into the season, and that's
Yeah.
a key that we haven't had the last few years, where we've had key players with either still rehabbing injuries from the spring or coming into camp beat up. But certainly I like where we're at physically right now. I don't think we have an issue with this one. I'm still not allowed to pick clean sheets, at least for a few weeks here, with the uncertainty in goal. But I'm going to predict a 3-2 score here. We might even come out a little bit slow just on the emotion of the weekend. Handling emotions at home for this club is never an easy thing. The Northwest Curve will do their thing, and Kevin Trapp, I don't know if he's already traveled to Paris, but if he got a send off,
He'll be there. I think he'll be there. They'll
yeah,
do. I think like before the game, before they walk out, he'll like wave to the crowd, say goodbye and stuff like that. Because
if
I
he
don't.
got a Marmouche style send off, I just, I'll
I
probably
hope they
lose it
show
here
it.
on my couch. Yeah,
I
yeah,
hope they
that
show
would
it.
be huge. But certainly do that after the match. Don't come out before the match and get everyone distracted.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. Um, but yeah, I
What
mean,
have you got for a prediction there?
I think we're gonna win this game 3-1 at the most. Or have like a 2-goal win, essentially 2-goal cushion. Um, But I think it's gonna be a good game. I think we have. I really like our schedule. Starting off with Werder and Hoffenheim, somewhat like easier, not easy games, but easier games that we can get good results from before we get the Leverkusen. Well, whatever Leverkusen is this year, since what they had so many changes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna win 3-1. I think Doan, may stay hot, get another goal in. If Gutsa doesn't play, obviously, because if Gutsa plays, I don't think there'll be a switch. Um, and then
Let's
maybe
talk
even
about
Knauf.
because you and I have not officially gone on the air with our season predictions. Give me
Ooh,
your top four and who's getting relegated
top four. We're gonna go
or more.
with.
If we're not in your top four, please tell me where we're going to be.
I think we're gonna be top three. Um, I definitely think we're gonna be top three. I think Bayern's probably gonna win it again. Um, breaking news. And Dortmund, man.
Yeah.
I think Dortmund has somehow figured it out towards the end of the season. I think they're going to be a wagon. I think they're going to actually compete with Bayern. Um, yeah, I think it's just going to be the usual suspect with Bayern and Dortmund, then us in third, because I don't see Freiburg doing too much, especially losing. Um, Doan. Wow, that was stuck. And then, yeah, I don't see Leipzig doing too much either, especially with the potential leave of Xavi Simmons over there. Obviously, Sheshko's gone now too. So, yeah, I see us being in the top three. And then who's getting relegated? I think Hoffenheim is out of here. I think Zampoli is out of here, and I think Augsburg is out of here, especially Augsburg, because I don't think they won a single game in their last like 8 games, and they somehow still survived. So I don't know
We
anything
have
about
them
their
on the list
preseason.
every year, though. Like every year, we're saying this is the year Augsburg goes down, and they do. Like they lost their last four at the end of last year, and still somehow finished like 12th because they were, stupid, scary, good early, and then fell off a cliff. But I, I'm going to agree with you. I think Bayern won, Dortmund two, and we're going to be third. Actually, I think we flirt with the top for a month or so. Um, I just really like our form right now. I mean, we're not going to carry it too long. We kind of did the same last year with a hot start, and I expect the exact same thing this year. Um, if we kept ourselves in that top three all year, kind of like we did last year, and then the year before where we held on to six from like December 5th on the
Yeah.
end of the year, crazy consistency, but that kind of consistency is good. I mean, I would much rather have that than be an elevator going up and down all season and stressing everybody out. If we can be consistently top four and go deep into three competitions, um, I like our chances there. I mean, without knowing the draw for Champions League or what we have next in the cup, if we can go deep runs in all of those and still finish in the top four, I'm going to be thrilled.
Oh
Um,
yeah, for
I
sure.
think
And
we're the third best group right now. I would put the money on that. But also, I do worry if we do make a deep run in Champions League, it's going to kind of turn into that Oliver Glasner situation where you got to pick one or the other because there's no way you can do both.
I
We
agree.
don't have the depth to do that yet.
I agree. I mean, I think most of us can say that I'm fine with ditching the DFB Pokal and focusing on Champions League and Bundesliga this year, just
Yeah.
because we play so well internationally. Like if like I don't know, if we played Bundesliga and like Champions League like atmosphere and stuff like that, I feel like we'd win the whole fucking thing every year.
Yeah.
Um
And
so
there's something too to, we always talk about like the money that comes with Champions League. Getting out of the group is huge for the money, but qualifying year over year through the league would just be massive for us because that's another year of financial stability and European earnings that, it just that's when you get players wanting to come here and not turning this into the stepping stone,
mhm.
like Kevin Trapp wanted to be here and stuck it out for 10 years over two stints. Um, you're not going to find a lot of guys like that. But I think the word is out now that Frankfurt is a destination in the right situation. And that's kind of
Correct.
what I want it to become is a place where people say, you know what, there are offers to go other places. I want to stick this out because I like what we're doing here.
I agree. And I think the more we play like in Champions League, the more recognition we'll get, the more international fans we'll get. Especially with the amount of, international players we have. And especially now we have Dohan, like another Japanese guy back there. Like we're going to continue having that side of the world be fans of us.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm excited for next Thursday when the draw comes out. I'm excited to see what kind of big teams we play and stuff like that. I'm not sure what pot we're in. We're in the third pot, I'm pretty sure, or like the third tier, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it doesn't matter. We're winning the whole fucking thing. It
Damn
doesn't
right. Damn
matter.
right. How far do you think? I can kind of see us going to quarterfinals in Champions League.
I can't really make a prediction without seeing the draw yet. I do like this new format. It's very cool seeing more teams, and you know, the home and away thing with the groups was traditional, but this idea of seeing more teams home and away is I like the variability of it. You can't just be so predictable that you got one easy matchup in each group home and away, and then the other four you got to battle it out. You could have seven tough matchups here, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I like the variability that comes along with the new structure. I'm going to reserve a prediction until we see where we are. Um, but certainly I think we can get out of the group or get out of that first round
League
with the
phase, yeah.
amount in league phase. There you go, with the depth we have. But matchups mean everything.
I
So
agree. And like that's what I meant too with like, playing 5 different teams, like we're marketing our team to 5 different, hopefully 5 different countries, So
and seeing guys on these teams, how many times have we played in Antwerp and then go grab a player from there the following summer? Like,
yep. I wish
mean,
we could say the
guys like
same thing for
Marcus George, they
Barcelona.
see that.
Yeah, I know.
No.
I wish. We'll see though, dude. I think we're gonna have a really good season. I think we're gonna really fight for another Champions League spot. I don't feel like a lot of other Bundesliga teams made quite a lot of acquisitions. I think we made decent acquisitions with Doan, Burkhardt, and all that stuff. So, and we're a young team. So yeah, Champions League and Champions League quarterfinals, stamp it in there.
I'm not stamping anything yet. We'll see. We'll see the draw first. We'll see that next week. And Matt, I love having you on. We're doing this again. You're going to be back regularly. I hope.
Yes.
I hope
life is figured out.
That. Yeah, you're not going to Kevin Trapp us, right? You're going to
fuck no. This is fortunately a lifetime thing. So
Well, we appreciate people tuning in on YouTube. All of our information below on YouTube at HEF Pod and X at HEF Pod, Blue Sky at HEF Pod, all so on and so forth at the bottom of the screen. And certainly we'll be sharing more content on our socials. Be sure to check out Brian's work on the opposition dropping. Oh, it's already out. Yeah. And then 11 new one before the next home match. So Matt, where are we finding you on social media to tell you how bad your predictions are?
Matt SGE New York on the Twitter space, guys.
Still doing the Twitter thing.
I'm not getting rid of that. It's staying Twitter. I'm not calling it X. The fuck is that?
I'm with you. I love Twitter. I couldn't deal with the cesspool of trash on there anymore. It was too much. But I still am on Instagram if you want to tell me how lousy my predictions are, at Chris N. Monroe. And
I want to quickly add too, your wife had the funniest post about Kevin Trapp on her story where she looks like she's pissed off at him. Like, no, you're not leaving. I was on the floor for that.
So the story behind that, I don't know. I mean, if people were on the trip, they heard about it, but the coffee situation in the team hotel in Louisville was lousy. And if anybody has known Kevin Trapp for more than 2 minutes, the man loves his coffee, and he could not find good espresso anywhere. And my wife absolutely loves coffee. And so at the team event in Louisville, they were talking about coffee, and he's like, I'm drinking shit right now. I need the good stuff. And the moment that I captured that photo with her like being upset for him, now I've turned it around and been like, you yelled at him. That's why he left us. She did not appreciate the way I turned that around on her. But
my God.
It's been such a source for the last like 24 hours of like, why did you run him out of town like that? That's the worst thing you could have done.
It's funny.
And it's a good time. We're gonna miss Kevin Trapp, but certainly life goes on. The club continues, and we're gonna be here to follow every minute of it. Episode 361 is in the books. Episode 362 will come to you next week as we follow up on Werder Bremen and look forward to match day 2. Matt, good talking to you. We'll do it again next time.
Damn right, Chris. I'll see you then.
Frankfurt, la 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 la. Hey, Eintracht Frankfurt, la 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 la.